G'day guys, welcome to episode 108 of Ask Jack D. Today we take 4 or 5 questions from the Entourage Harbour Cruise that happened last Sunday. Some are actually really insightful questions, some are just downright silly. All of them are awesome. Stay tuned.
28 and I'm trying to shape history, pulling from the sky for some strength to take with me. Line up the stars, fly away quickly and push the world forward like a tidal wave hit me. I ride the wave swiftly, I fear no.
G'day guys, welcome to episode 108 of Ask Jack D. Today we take like 4 or 5 questions from the Harbour Cruise on last Sunday. Now that we've had time to filter, edit and sort of process all of them, we got a lot of questions from the Harbour Cruise. 20 to 25% were usable, just. No prizes for guessing why. In this episode, we're going to answer 4 or 5 and let the first one roll.
So my question to you, Jack, is how many times a week do you train and what would you typically do?
Zach, really good question. How many times a week do I train? What do I do? So firstly, it's incredibly important, right? You have to train. Your number one value in life as individuals, I reckon, needs to be energy, health, vitality, right? Because without that, nothing happens. Richard Branson was asked how he maintains his workload and the pressure that's on him, on a daily basis. And he simply replied, I work out regularly, right? So what do? I've got a personal trainer. We catch up twice a week. I train independently of him 3 or 4 times a week. And I'm doing a combination of like weight work and all of that sort of stuff, as well as cardio and running and the health and fitness type stuff. Both give me a certain element of rejuvenation and refreshment and make me feel like I can sustain everything that I need to do. The other thing I will say on that is it's particularly important to do during times of stress and pressure. I think often the first thing that goes out of people's calendar is gym or is jogging or is whatever, or yoga. Don't. Like during times of high pressure, that's number one on your to-do list, always, particularly when you don't have time.
So Jack, do you think it's possible to scale your business too quickly?
Paris and Lawrence, thank you for the question and well done on kicking ass to the degree that you guys have been lately. This question is probably really pertinent to you guys. The answer is absolutely yes. You can scale too quickly, and there's a couple of considerations here. Number one, often growth devours cash, meaning people think the faster you grow, the more cash you have lying around. It's not the case, right? Because often we need more product or we need more staff or we need more whatever. And sometimes we're not getting paid for whatever it is we're selling straight away, right? So there's a cash flow lag inherent in most businesses, not all businesses, that means that often growth devours cash, and therefore you really need to assess the capital requirements of any high growth business before you go out and just scale as quickly as possible. If you can raise money from external investors, you have that skill set, you have an investable business, all of that sort of stuff, that can certainly help. The second consideration is that with growth comes more headcount. You need to recruit. Often you can't recruit fast enough during high growth periods. You need to build infrastructure. You need to build systems. You need to maintain and sort of amplify and build on your own unique culture. All of those things take time, right? Now, we can always do it faster. However, you can't do it all tomorrow and you can't do it all in the next 3 months. So there's a cash component to sort of think about when you're going through any growth stage. And there's also a people resource. How fast can you operationalize to keep up with your growth is going to be the main challenge of any high growth business. And that needs to be very well thought through for any entrepreneur, because if you get to a point where it's too late to start thinking about that sort of stuff, often it's just going to be too late to start thinking about that sort of stuff. So think about it now.
Jack, how do you handle your own personal drinking policy when you're on, quote unquote, you are the person who is the founder of the Entourage, this is your sort of cruise. How do you mirror the fun versus the I still need to stay cool, calm and collected? So I'd like to hear, what's your drinking policy? Do you have a limit? Do you just avoid, or where do you go?
Brett Campbell, brilliant question. This actually is a very good question. The answer is, I'll get to me in a second. What I will say is this. As a leader, people need to have the utmost belief in you. Your people and even your community and the people around you need you to be a leader more than they need you to be their friend, right? That is really important for any person in any position of leadership in any organization or any situation. So keep that front of mind. As such, when you get into a social environment, I would either limit your drinking considerably, like I'm talking 1 or 2 drinks, that's it, or just don't drink. For those of you on the Harbour Cruise on Sunday, you would have noticed I was walking around drinking mineral waters with lemon all day. Didn't have 1 drink on the Harbour Cruise, right? That's how, firstly, I prefer that because I'm sort of more present and I'm able to, interact with everybody and have really meaningful discussions and hear about people's stories and remember them. It's just a better way to be, right? So when you're in that environment, as boring as this sounds, you will never hear me say this ever again, behave.
My question would be, if he was stuck on an island, he would have to choose Drake or JayZ. Who would he choose?
JayZ.
Why?
Good question. Okay, this is a very hard conversation for me to have. Why would I pick JayZ? Firstly, and again, I'm reluctant to say this, but Drake is probably more musically well-rounded, maybe even more musically talented, right? However, and that's hard to say, but however, JayZ, who he is and what he's achieved and the things that he's navigated and the challenges that he's had to come out from underneath of, and the icon that he has become, music aside, is legendary, right? And so if I'm on an island and I've got to chat with one of them for a couple of days, you would learn more from JayZ about life, right, and business and just everything. JayZ.
Hi, JayZ. How do you feel the personal brand?
Brilliant question, and I'm glad to see that you're having fun on the Harbour Cruise. Personal brand, this is what you do. Know thyself. You have to know what is uniquely you, and Jane, you're great at this. Know what is uniquely you, know your quirks, know your flaws. What happens to most people is when they step on stage, if we use stage as a metaphor for camera, writing a blog, writing an article, or literally a stage in front of a room full of people, is their personality goes whoop, and it shrinks and they become less of themselves. Personal brand is about knowing who you are so that you can amplify it and become more of yourself. Matt Church is brilliant at sort of this sort of stuff in terms of how do you take you and make it bigger. Really important for any person building a personal brand. Know who you are and then turn it up. Is that it? That's it. Thank you guys. Oh, that's not it. We've got one more. Sorry, jumping the gun.
Sorry. Where did you get your style from?
Oh, Jesus. Okay, Luke back, let it roll.
All right, JD, this is coming at you, mate. You're a man of style, all right? And I try to do my best when it comes to style, but I look up to you, mate. So my question for you is, where do you get your style from, mate? So hit me back with that. I'd love to know. Peace.
Okay, Macca, thank you for that question. Firstly, I don't know if I agree with the premise of the question. I don't know how stylish I can claim to be. However, any style that I can claim, I can absolutely not take credit for. I've got a couple of people around me, fantastic women who actually do understand fashion to a degree, well, to a great degree actually, and therefore try and sort of make sure that I'm on point at any given time. I do not envy the position they are in, but I am a willing participant because, and this is just a rule for life, when you know that you know nothing, you become highly coachable. And when it comes to clothes and fashion, I know that I know nothing. Although over the last sort of 18 months, I've probably learned a lot by being around amazing people, and just by virtue of having people go, you need to do this. You learn sort of as a byproduct of just being in that environment. So Mac, my advice to you is continue doing what you're doing because you're a very stylish man. And secondly, when in doubt, get great people who actually understand what they're doing around you and follow their advice. Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. Episode 108. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you to everybody that came to the Harbour Cruise. I know this is now Wednesday. It's been a bit of a lag. We had to scroll through. How many hours of footage did you guys actually get at the Harbour? 2 hours of footage. I would have thought it'd be more than that. It was only a 4-hour cruise. So these guys behind the camera got a couple of hours worth of footage, which we'll sort of put up soon in terms of giving you guys, anyone that wasn't on a boat, a glimpse in terms of what happened. Thank you for all the questions today, guys. We look forward to speaking with you tomorrow.
I've just actualized a wish that I dreamed as a kid. Cause I'm lining up the stars. You know